Hi, Jim Robinson here with the Premium Daily Commodity Newsletter. Now, we looked at grains on the daily chart yesterday. Today we'll look at the weekly chart. This is March corn weekly, and this is the 10-10 bands, and then this is just a bar chart down here. Now, here's a couple things to look at. A lot of times markets make bottoms on this cup type pattern, and this could be considered a handle here. And even if corn were to trade lower, this would still be, I'd still consider this a handle. It doesn't have to be perfectly across or anything like that. And then what the deal is with the cup with handle pattern, if that's what's forming on the weekly chart, is say if corn goes down here and then eventually takes out this high, that's going to be very bullish and say get long corn, because when the high of the handle is taken out, that usually means there's going to be a lot of upside from there. So that's what we're kind of looking for in corn in the longer term. Now right now, you can see that on the base here, this was like the breakaway bar to the upside, and that is usually going to be a place that's going to be strong support. So corn will probably have a little more downside to go. I would look for it to make the low in this area on the weekly chart, and then if you just come back over here, that's right into that bar. And the low of this bar is 343, so I really don't think corn will hit 343 because this bar will probably hold it just a little higher up in here. And yesterday we were looking at the 360 area, so just say 350, 360, 340 even. I mean, it could take out the low of this bar and still be, as long as it doesn't take out this low, it's still an uptrend. Okay, now here's how the 10-10 bands work. Whenever they hook up like this, and then just to close above the bands is a first indication that a uptrend has started. But then when it makes full bars above the bands, that is a sign of strength, and that basically tells you that the buyers have taken control of this market. And then it's 2 bars above is a uptrend, 2 bars below is a downtrend. It's kind of general rules for the 10-10 bands. But I've noticed a lot of times when it makes the first bull swing, it will come back down, and on the test it will put bars below the bands, and you just kind of got to ignore those and not say that the market's starting to downtrend because you're forming a base. So corn will probably come down here and put a couple bars in below the bands, and as long as, like I said, this low holds, we're going to stay bullish, and we'll be looking to buy right in here. We'll be looking for a base. It's gonna on a big move down like this, it's not just gonna just shoot right back up. It's gonna come down here and base a little bit for a couple, 2 or 3 weeks. And February is the time that the grains usually make their lows, so this is coming in just at a perfect time for corn to make a base here. Okay, now we'll take a look at wheat real quick. I was gonna look at all the grains, but I probably won't have time. Like I say, the reason I don't have time is because YouTube only lets you load 10 minutes worth of videos. So if you go too long on these, they won't upload them. So I kind of got to cut them short to make sure they'll upload. But this is just pretty much basically the same, almost the same pattern as corn, and I think it's again a very bullish chart pattern. It's made kind of a cup, and it almost looks like a head and shoulders too. You can almost call this like a shoulder and a head and a shoulder pattern, but I'm looking, we'll just call it a cup. And then again, this handle, a lot of times when they show you the classic handle, it's going straight across here, but I still consider this downward slant a handle. If you draw a trend line here and a trend line here, it looks like a cup with a handle. And on wheat, pretty much the same thing. It made this first bull swing, and now it made a correction, and then it came up here and it made another bull swing, lower high, and then now it's making this move down. Now if you follow Elliott wave, that would just be an A, B, C correction, A, B, C. And the C wave down is always a really strong move, because that's when supposedly the traders see that the market's not going to continue the uptrend. And then the C wave is a strong down move, so that just fits in with this wide bar here and everything. So I'd look for wheat to come down in this area here and make a base and then head higher. And again, that's kind of the same thing as corn. These were kind of the breakout bars to the upside from the low. and this was probably, if you considered this a base, this was probably the breakout bar. So a good chance wheat will come down right in around that bar, and that bar's low was 501. So just say, and usually I don't think this bar's low will get taken out, so really above 501, we shouldn't take out 501, and it should, the correction low should come in above 501. Again, that isn't written in stone. As long as this low here at 480 isn't taken out, I still consider this a bull market. Now here we are with March wheat weekly and the 10-10 bands again. And when I say the 10-10 bands, that's a 10-day simple moving average of the highs and a 10-day simple moving average of the lows, and it forms a band. And you can get that at barchart.com. It's free. I'll try to include the link in the newsletter tonight. Again, it made a couple bars above the bands, and just basically this action above the bands tells you that it's probably started a bull move. The odds are with a bull move, so that's what we got to go by. Then, and the hook up in the bands. Now, again, once it makes the bars above the bands, the lower band becomes support. So this is really a support area. If the move had really taken off, I would look for the lower band to hold right in here. But again, since this is probably going to be a test of this low, usually the first test of this low will come in a little lower. It's usually a sharper correction. So we'll look for wheat to trade down in this area, and it'll probably put in a couple bars below the bands, but it'll never really go any further than that. And so just basically I'm looking for wheat to base out here around the $5 a bushel area, and then we'll be taking buy signals in there, and we're just going to be patient. I mean, it could take 3 weeks, it could take a month, we'll just, and it could happen tomorrow. Well, it's not going to happen tomorrow because it's going to be a longer base than that, but you know what I mean. I'm trying to talk too much, sorry. But anyway, in the next 3 to 4 weeks, 2, 3, 4 weeks, we should have a good buy signal in corn and in wheat. And so I'm going to wrap this one up so I can get it uploaded. Thanks for listening to my commentary. I appreciate it. And Jim Robinson, ProfitTrading.com.